Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live from Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it is Monday, and interesting thing. It looks like Dallas. It looks like Tesla has moved above that very exciting 502 buy point, which means that we may be off to the races. Also, have some other stuff for you. Kind of interesting. Blink Charging and Palantir, which seem to be doing some kind of interesting stuff. And without further ado, let's get going. So basically, Tesla moved before above the 502 level, and so that is very, very bullish. Just wanted to kind of give you an idea. The Nasdaq is up today, not a lot, 0.36% when this slide was taken. The S&P's up, and so is the Dow Jones, as well as and the volume's up a little bit. So it seems like people seem to be wading back into the market. So that is a good thing. The some of the big tech caps have been down though. Microsoft and Apple kind of down a little bit. I think that may have had their run, and maybe it's going to some other things. Who knows? But that seems to be kind of happening. This is a chart of the Spider. This is the daily chart here. The Spider is the world's largest ETF, and it's an index fund that tracks the S&P 500 based on a weighted basis. So, we definitely are having an update a little bit, but it's not huge. The volume's pretty low. The relative strength here is 61. What that means is that the Nasdaq, the Spider, is outperforming the rest of the market, so that's good. And we do have a sort of we're above the 40-day line, which is good. We're very near the key level of 360. 360 is a very key level for the Spider. If we move beyond that, we'll sort of be in that nice trending up. So at least for right now, we're in a confirmed uptrend. The market's in a confirmed uptrend. Now with so that's the basic market direction here. Another very important ETF that we always look at, and that's the QQQ Trust, which covers the Nasdaq 100, and this is an extremely large ETF as well. It's outperforming 77% of the market, so that's very, very good. So there is a crowding into the QQQ and the S&P from the overall market. So this is also moving very nicely. It's above that 275 key level, and it's kind of knocking on the door of 300. This one probably, this one is a little bit sideways. The Nasdaq has had some fall off with some of its issues, primarily Microsoft and Apple. They don't seem to be pulling it up as much, but Tesla, which just became part of the S&P 500, definitely is. So, that is a very important, a key level. Just wanted to show you the chart of Tesla. As I've been talking about for quite a while, Tesla's making a new high currently. When this slide was taken just a few minutes ago, it was at 525.01, up $34.40, or about 7%. Now, remember, it smashed through this level, and of course, that level was right about 502. So I'm showing you right here kind of where this, kind of on the 28th of September and August, that's sort of when it's made high. Now it's come back to its complete high. What I do anticipate is if it can hold these levels, it's probably going higher, and it may be as high as $600 by the end of the year. I mean, that would be a little bit aggressive, but definitely if it can hold these levels, it's going to be higher than it is now. So it is still a leader, and whereas some of the other leaders have fallen off, Tesla is the gift that seems to keep on giving. You never know. Also want to show you another one, very interesting one that I've been tracking. I did go into a position on this one today. It is an very interesting stock called Palantir. I was in it before earnings, and then I sold. I sold right before earnings, and then I'm now back in it. It's called Palantir. It's up to $3.09 today, or about 17%, which is very, very bullish. Now, unfortunately, there's not a really good place to buy this one. I bought it basically just based on the 21-day exponential, and not the greatest place to buy it. But again, it is definitely moving up. And another nice thing here is we're seeing a lot of volume coming into this issue. Very important thing about Palantir is that Kathy Woods, who runs the ARK Invest funds, I think she bought something like 10,000 shares of it on Friday. So looking very strong when it comes to that. So just wanted to kind of show you Palantir, and we'll probably talk a little bit about it today on the show, but it's a very strong stock as well. Another very strong stock that I think is tremendous, and I did buy this. I buy this late on Friday, coming into today. One of my perennial favorites. I've had this one before. It's called Blink Charging, and this issue, basically is moving to its highest highs, and you can see there's been a lot of volume coming in here. This one's up $8.92, or approximately 39.3% in one day. So that is pretty stellar when it comes to it. Now, I suspect a pullback on this one, so it's a little bit difficult to buy this, but if you'll notice, this volume is just incredible. It's 1,032% versus the 50-day moving average, so extremely powerful into this. Now, this is an interesting area. This is electric vehicle charging stations. The company is based in North Miami, Florida. And interestingly enough, I did some little research on this. There is a Blink charging station right in my neighborhood. Didn't even know it, but it's there, and they've got a tremendous number of stations. Got an interesting business model. They basically contract with all the little bodegas and businesses like that on a revenue share basis, but it's very strong. And of course, Tesla is going to be important in the electrical vehicle, and of course, they have the supercharging stations, but Blink is going to be charging for some of the other ones that aren't branded. The other brands, Volkswagen, General Motors, and the sort. So, very interesting company as well. Blink Charging, symbol BLNK. I just wanted to go through that. So, just give you an idea of my current holdings. It's changed a little bit because I did sell. I did sell several of my issues. I sold my ResMed RMD holdings. It just wasn't performing as well as I would have liked it to have. And then I also sold my Imphy, which is a chip maker holdings as well. Basically, currently I'm in NET, which is Cloudflare. And it's down a little bit. It seems to be holding on. It's ran up a lot. This one is kind of taking a rest. One of my real favorites, especially in this environment, I think we're going to have a lot of deflation coming year. So this one's doing quite well. It's called Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I always say Greystone. I don't know why. It's Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, symbol GBTC. And then I'm also in Form Factor. It's done quite well. It's up $1.11 today at about 40.82. I also have Tupperware, which seems to it's the gift that keeps on giving. I guess, with Thanksgiving coming up, people want to save their turkeys for later. So those turkey sandwiches. So TUP on that Tupperware. Tesla, of course, it kind of speaks for itself. It's moved past that important 502 buy point. It's at 524 right now. It's up about $34 or about 7% today. Of course, at Palantir, it's also up about 17.58% or about $3.19 today at $21.34. It pulled back a little bit on Friday. I do think that it may continue up. And of course, I did move into Blink Charging. It's up 38.73% when this was taken, $8.78. Now, do I believe this one will pull back? Absolutely. So set your stop losses on this one. This one kind of may come back down to earth a little bit on that. So, you never know. Just give you an idea of what's on the watch list. Have some new items on the watch list I just want to point your attention to. Put Medfast on. It's in a buy zone currently as we speak. I have several national beverage. It's right above, but it's got a good pattern. XPEL, this is a Chinese automobile manufacturer. It's extended as well. This company called Green Brick Partners, a very interesting company. It's out the 40-day. It's also extended. Darling Industries is another one that's right in the buy zone, and St. Joe Company. And of course, these are the ones I haven't updated for everything because I did put I did put Blink Charging on today, and I don't have that highlighted as well. But Tesla, Grayscale, Bitcoin, Bitcrust, Cloudflare, and Tupperware, I have all of those. So that kind of gives you a look-see at the watch list. By the way, if you're interested in getting more information on the watch list and kind of so you can follow along, it's super easy to do. You can go over to the website, www.Dallas Trading Floor, and so that is a good and sign up for the free action trade alerts, and it's really easy. Just go to the website, first and last name, and then an email address. It's free, and you can cancel anytime you like, the whole deal. And it's www.Dallas Trading Floor as well. So thanks for bearing with me here. Let's get to some of the questions. So first question, thank you for waiting, is coming from YouTube. UNH has been falling back for a week. Let's take a look at UNH just to go over and see what we can see about UNH. Here's the thing that I always recommend doing: if you have bought a stock and it moves, it moves correctly, then you can easily capture the profits by using stop losses. But let's look at United Health Group, and of course that's a very, very big stock. Now, it should do well if there is a Biden presidency, and of course we don't actually know what it's going to happen, but I suspect it's going to be a Biden presidency. If there is one, this should, in an environment like that, it should do better. So let's look at the daily chart and see kind of what's happening here. Now, would you buy it at this point? Well, this is a good question. We made a high on this. We're right in the buy zone still from this double bottom. Double bottom is a very, very good chart pattern, and it's a first stage double bottom, so that's very good. 323.62 is the buy point on it, so it's right in there. Now, would I buy it at this point? No, because it is moving lower, as you can see. So it is not time to buy it. Let's see what happens when it goes past the 40-day moving average. I've made a little thing there. Let's see if it bounces there. I do believe that we will see a bounce there at about the 40-day, and that very much closely corresponds to the double bottom, which is 232.82. Here's some things I don't like about this stock. It's got a relative strength of 65. That's too low for me. I typically like to see at least an 80. We're also seeing a lot of selling going on here. Again, not the kind of action that I want to see on it. Let's look at give it the smell test here. The smell test is 6 out of 9, so it definitely meets the smell test. 6 out of 9 is my minimum. Let's look at the funds that are in it. Well, we do have increasing funds, so that's good. So it meets the smell test. It's just a little bit lower than I would like it. There's been some selling. That's an issue here. The selling that's going on is an issue here. The low relative strength, less than 80, I don't like that, and also that it's fallen through the 21-day line. Now, will it bounce at the 40-day line? Very likely. Here's what I would do. I would watch list this one and get ready. If you still like it, buy it as it bounces off of the buy it as it bounces off of the 40-day moving average. So that's going to give us the best thing there. So let's take a question from TikTok. Thanks for holding on. Kind of go to the top of the list. Okay, join. Okay, let's see if I can get a good question here. Here we go. How about Tesla and NIO? Okay, well, NIO has been doing very, very well. Let's look at NIO first and kind of see how it's trading. I think it's trading in sympathy with Tesla. Today, look at that. It's up $5 or 11%. That is tremendous. It is definitely trading in sympathy with Tesla at 55.17. Now, here's the issue currently we've got excellent relative strength here at 99. So that's definitely something that is looking very good in terms of in terms of the relative strength. So that's looking very good. The chart pattern itself, though, it is probably going to reset here. My guess is it can't continue on this angle for very long. So I do think it's going to pull back. Let's see kind of where it's going to pull back. I do think we're very, very likely to see a pullback on this to about the $45 level. And that when it does pull back, I think that's going to pull to about right to that level. Why? Because it's moving up at this angle this is the channel, and as it pulls back from that channel, very likely to be at 47 or 48. If it pulls back to 47 or 48 and it bounces off that channel, I think it might be a buy. But right now, you don't want to buy it. It's just too extended. Now, you can buy it in this level, but if you do, make sure that you push your stop loss up very quickly on this. I would put a stop loss on this at 2.5% from where I bought it. So if I were to buy it basically at 55, I would be looking I'd be looking at a stop loss at about 54 on that. So very tight stop loss if you decide to buy it now. Not really a good buy point for NIO right now, but it's just going up like you read about. Let's look at Tesla, TSLA. And of course, that was the breakout today, and it was an important breakout because it broke out from the 502 level, which was the breakout. So as you can see, I'm trying to show you there where the buy point is. The buy point is 502.49. It's powered past that. It's almost out of the buy zone. The buy zone is up to about 525. So I'm gonna put on the chat the Tesla buy zone is equal to about 502 to about 525 approximately. So that kind of gives you an idea. And I'm going to put that out there in the chat. We're almost getting to the point where you can't buy success. It's a little bit too high to buy Tesla. And once it gets about past 27, it's going to be very hard to buy it. You're going to have to wait again. But as you can see, there are some significant things that are happening here. This formation here, little thing that you can see. There we go. See, it kind of looks like a little Easter egg there. What that is that notes that this has been the highest volume since the last breakout. And of course, that was just basically on Thursday. So today is Thursday. It broke above 502, then it pulled back on Friday, and then now it's moved to higher than that. I do believe that we're going to see some support at that level, and possibly we could go higher. Now I try to take a look to see where I think there's a possibility to go before the end of the year with Tesla. So I'm going to be drawing the channels here, and that's what I'm doing here. That's one channel, and then I'm going to draw the other channel. Let me see if I can get that in there proper. This is approximate, but this is going to give you the approximate channel here. Oops, let's go to there. So the approximate channel, if we look at the end of the year time frame here, we're gonna probably be, I suspect, right about here, which is about $600. So I suspect that we have another 10% to run before the end of the year, maybe even a little bit more. So I suspect 575 to 600, as long as the trend if the trend is not broken, and we may see a pullback. We could possibly see a pullback below 500. We could see it pull back to maybe about a 480 pullback, but it looks pretty strong in that I think we're going to probably move up towards the towards the 600 level before the end of the year. So that's kind of my take on Tesla. All right, so I'm not sure how to trade Tesla right now. Do you stay in and hope it goes higher? Absolutely, or you just take profits. Here's the thing. I think you need to stay in Tesla right now because it's moved past a key level. Here's what you do. you want to continuously push up your stop loss and keep it within about 2.5% of where it's trading now. So right now it's trading for 523.30. If you were to take 1% of that, of course, that would be $5.23. So you want to put your stop loss at about 514 right now is where you want to have it. Maybe 510 right now. And then just keep pushing up that stop loss. Eventually it's going to pull back, and then of course you'll be sold out at a profit. That's how I would play it, is with the stop loss. So that's a great question, and I really appreciate that. That's how I typically play stocks that are moving higher like that. Is that what I'll do is I will watch the stock run and then start pushing that stop loss up. So if there is a pullback, I will be able to get that profit. You don't want to round trip your profit. It's too difficult to make the profit. It's most important if you can just push that stop loss up, and then you will be able to to make some profit on that. Okay, so we have a question on XPEV. This is one of the Chinese companies that is in the electrical vehicle space, XPEV. And that has been also doing well. There's a lot of sympathy trade right now. This is up $18, $72. I don't really know how to trade this one. I'm primarily trading the leaders, NIO, and but XPEN is good. This is out of IPO base, so this is going to be tougher to trade. There's going to be a lot of speculation. It's got a relative strength of 98, so that's pretty excellent. Let's look at the smell test, see if we can make the smell test on this one. It's a checklist of 7 out of 9, which is okay. It's good. And let's look at the fund. The funds, no, not a whole lot. Well, actually, we have 231 funds in it, so that's pretty good. Let's compare that one to some of the other ones out there, and that's NIO. And I think that's really the one you got to compare it to. It's a little less expensive at $55.44. Now, here's the thing about NIO that I like more than XPEN. NIO has a deal with the European Union to start importing cars into Europe next year. So I do think that these have a potentially better pathway to success. NIO does, and we have a 99 relative strength. But XPEN is 97, so that's pretty good. I like NIO a little bit better, but let's look at the checklist, kind of give it the spell test. This has 8 out of 9 as opposed to 7 out of 9. So I like NIO just a little bit better here. 492 in terms of the number of funds that are in it. So if I had to pick a Chinese EV maker, I think you want to go with NIO. I think that's the one that you want rather than XPEN. Not that the other one's bad. I just think you could make more money on that one. Okay, so thank you, Christian. Thoughts on Blink and Tesla? Too late to buy Blink? Well, I actually bought Blink this morning, if you can believe it. Probably a little bit late. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I was big on Blink this summer, and then I basically held it into earnings, and then I sold. I haven't been back yet. I'm kind of waiting for the time, but it's going stratospheric. I'm not sure that it's the wrong time to buy it, really. I mean, I had to jump in it this morning. I mean, I had to hurry and jump in at about 29, which, I wish that I had bought it a little earlier, but it's still really good. I do think that it's going to be making a new high. So that's the weekly chart. Let's look at the daily, and let's see if there's anywhere we could possibly get in here. I do believe this is going to pull back. It may pull back to, I could easily see this thing pulling back to about 19 here. I could easily see it, but I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a reason to sell it. But as you can see, there's a little bit of resistance there. So I do think that we might see a little pullback on this one to 19. But what's stellar about Blink is look at this. Look at this this volume that it's been coming in. So that's very, very nice. A lot of volume coming in here, and I'm pretty psyched about this one. Let's look at the smell test. Okay, it's 7 out of 9. Very good on that. Very, very good on that. Let's look at the ownership. Good ownership. It's improving. This is a relatively small cap, so the fact that they've even gotten some phone ownership at all is incredible. Let's look at the sector. The sector looks pretty good. It's 5. It doesn't really get all that much better than this. The industry rank Out of 197 sectors, Blink Charging is in number 5. Wow, that's pretty good. There's 14 stocks in this, and it's just moving very nicely right now. Here's the thing: if you do buy this, and I do think it's going to be a risky buy, so be very careful on this one. If you do buy into this one on a pullback, and I think you got to wait for a pullback now. On a pullback, I think you want to make sure that when you buy it, put that 2.5% stop loss in. So if you don't quite get it at the bounce, then you'll be protected. But here's what you want to wait for: wait for it to pull back. Now it may not pull back tomorrow. When these go, sometimes they're just tough because they just kind of go. But when this thing pulls back, and it will eventually, because you can't have a pull up like this. What I believe this we're looking at here, by the way, this is a short squeeze. Okay, there were shorts here that got squeezed out. That's what I believe. That's what I believe this. That's what I believe this is. So I do think we're going to get a pullback, and it may be a very severe pullback. So we want to be super duper careful about a pullback on this one. When we start to get a pullback, I think that then once it reverses off that pullback, I think you're going to be good in a good way. So let me take a look at the shorts in this, because that typically will form this kind of pattern like this when you have these kind of blow off. This is called the blow off top. And so let's look at the short interest. Short interest is 0.7 days. So interesting. There are options in this, of course. It's either somebody very big is coming into this stock, or we have a short squeeze, and I think or it may be the combination of the two. So typically stocks don't move like this unless there's somebody huge that has come into it. I do think, based on this chart, we are kind of seeing a line here. It's moved beyond this line, and then it's really started moving. So I just think it's going to pull back, but the question is when. Will it pull back all the way to 14? I doubt it. Probably will settle at about 23 to 25. That's what I'm anticipating. But right now, just a very, very strong, very, very strong stock. So there you go. All right. So Snap is ready to pop. Absolutely, it is. It's funny. I was talking to a colleague of mine about Snap. Snap is coming out with something that is going to challenge TikTok. So that might be pretty exciting. I do think it's getting ready. Snap isn't quite ready yet, but this is one you want to tee up. This is one you want to put on your radar. Let's look at the daily chart, and I'll show you why. Because we have, exactly. It's pulled up, but it's pulled back to this level. The key level on this one is this 45.60. It's at 45.26. So it looks very, very likely. Let's look at the weekly chart, that it's going to pull higher, and it's getting ready. It's getting ready to move here. You're absolutely right. Is this a true flag pattern? Well, it's almost a flag pattern, because remember, flag patterns come in. You have to look at the weekly chart to see the flag pattern, and we definitely have something resembling that. So there was an awful lot of buying just recently, just about 4 weeks ago. That's a huge volume spike. By the way, this chart here below, this is an exponential chart, not a linear chart. So the fact of this is just tremendous. We see a nice up arrow today on the volume as well. So that's looking good too. So and also a relative strength of 98, liking that. So this is getting ready to pop. What I would recommend on this one is possibly buying it if it moves above about the 4750. If it moves above 4750 on heavy volume, I think it's probably going to break out. But right now, it's just right below that. It's seeing some resistance. So let's look at the smell test. Okay, it's 8 out of 9. That's excellent. Excellent on that. Let's look at the funds. Boy, look at that. 884. So it's increasing fund ownership, and you have Fidelity Contrafund in there. That is excellent. That is an excellent thing as well. So we've got some very nice funds in there, and it is increasing. Let's look at the sector. The sector is 19 out of 197, so that's good too. So everything looks good about this. this is definitely watch list. It's the thing is, if this pulls back and it gets ready, you could probably buy it right now. You could probably buy this right now. I do think it looks like it's going to move higher. I do. I very much like this stock. I'm currently not in Snap, but it's on the watch list for me. And if it moves higher, I'm probably will be moving into it just because it has so much potential. XPEV should be the new Tesla. Well, maybe. It's always a trouble when you try to find the new of anything. The thing about the stock market is it tends to be very unequal in terms of who it rewards. It typically rewards the leaders the most. My guess is that NIO is the one that's probably has the better chance. But again, NIO stock is less expensive than XPEV. So I'd be careful about saying that XPEV is the new thing. The reason I like NIO is because they have an agreement to export their vehicles to Europe next year. So I do believe that's very strong. But they're all interesting. The electrical vehicle industry is all very interesting. Also, you have to remind yourself that, it's not just going to be the new vehicle manufacturers. It's going to be also some existing ones. And I wanted to show you, and I haven't bought this yet, but I have been looking very carefully at the chart of General Motors. And why? Because if they can ever get their act together, and of course they have EVs right now, if they can ever get their act together, they will be formidable because they have the manufacturing capability and they have a very low amounts of debt because of the bankruptcy in 2013. Well, it looks like they're pulled higher again. It's up $1.73. So I am very bullish on this stock, if you can believe it, and that is General Motors. So I probably will be moving into General Motors. As you can see, again, it had a very, very nice spike. Now, here's why General Motors is such a significant stock, especially in China. General Motors is the #1 vehicle manufacturer in China. So this is one I think needs to be on your radar, General Motors. And let's look at the smell test on it. It's got a 7 out of 9, so it definitely meets that. The fund ownership is excellent. And, of course, it's a multi-billion dollar company, and they have the manufacturing capability. So this is one I think should be on your watch list. I know that it's not that sexy, but this one likely, especially for the long term, is likely to be very, very, very bullish. So keep looking at this one. I probably will be buying. This has been on my watch list. It probably will be on my buy list. Let's look at the weekly chart to see if there's any kind of formation on it. There isn't really any formation that could be bought, though, on the 21-day exponential. That's about the only place that it can be bought. But there was a cup with handle first stage base at 31.52. It's extended beyond that, but because of everything else, I do think that this is going higher. General Motors. It's funny because I've never owned General Motors as a stock, and you would think, gosh, that's a legacy stock. I concentrate on on basically growth stocks, but it's acting kind of like a growth stock. So that's very, very interesting. Okay. Hi. Oh, hey, Jake. Great. Hi, Jim. Blink had another strong day. How do you decide to sell some? Here's the thing. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you too, by the way. Yeah, Blink is looking really, really strong. It's unbelievable. Here's what I would do. If you're up more than 20% on your stock, sell half your position and play with the house's money. That's what I would do. Try to see, play with the house's money. Blink can pull back, and it probably will pull back, just to be honest. It's a relatively thin stock. But the fact that it's up strong, and I think that, people are looking around and they're saying, wow, these guys have over 3,000 charging stations in the United States. Electric vehicles are happening. Of course, Tesla has the supercharger stations, but these guys are kind of the leader in the other space. So very strong, and I think you can really, really do great. All right, so Morrison, fantastic. I got Palantir for $11.58, and it's now it's an all-time high of 21. Should I sell, reduce, or buy more? Here's what I think. Good question. What I would do is I probably, at this point, would buy more. because here's the thing, Marcin, that's so fascinating about Palantir, and I'm going to put that one up on the screen, PLTR. And, of course, if you've been listening to me for a while, You know that I've owned this one and sold it, and now I've owned it, and now I own it again. Not in the small portfolio. I didn't buy it in the small portfolio because of the little space issues there. I do think this is going actually higher, if you could believe that, based on this chart. I'm going to show you the chart and kind of see what I'm seeing. But it's very speculative, of course. But here's one thing: Kathy Woods, who is the fund manager over at ARK Invest, had a tremendous record. She bought on Friday. She bought 10,000, I think 10,000 shares, something like that. A lot, anyways, and it's done very well. It's up $2.88 or 15%. That is absolutely incredible. Now, is it going to continue to go up like this? Probably not. I mean, it's going to pull back. I mean, I'm looking at the daily chart. I think they're going to pull back, but I do believe that looking at this chart, we have essentially support right at about the $19 level. So based on this, based on what I'm seeing here, so is it safe to buy at this level? Well, it's not really necessarily a great time to buy it, because if we're buying off the 21-day exponential, you'd be buying it at about 15. So that's a little bit dubious. And if you're buying off a proper buy point, it'd be $11. So that would, that's a good place to buy as well too. But I do think it is going higher. Now I could be all wet about that, but that was the first buy point, as you can see. And then we kind of had we had a gap up, and then we had a consolidation, another gap up, consolidation. What I'm seeing in this is there's just a whole lot of people that are interested in this. A whole lot of people are interested in this company. So, it just came on the radar screen and it debuted at 68 funds that are in it. I think it's just too early to sell it. I think it's too early to sell it. Here's what you want to do with what you're doing. With the shares that you have, push your stop loss up to about 19. Make sure you have a stop loss on, so if it pulls back, you don't do a round trip on your profit. But I think this is going to be a strong one. I think it's going to be a strong one. I think you could do extremely well with the stock. Congrats. Let's see. Okay. I sold Tesla at 15.15. Did I sell too soon? This is Shelby saying, you know what? I think you did. I mean, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but here's what you do. Try not to sell them out. Here's an easier way to do that. As your stock is moving up, if you're lucky enough to have one that moves up like that, move your stop losses up. Just move it up so that your gap is about 2.5 to 3% between where it's closing. Now, if it does pull back, you're going to get sold out and you're going to keep all that profit rather than do a round trip. You don't want to round trip your profits. Very hard to get those kind of profits. So, if you have a runner like this, which this definitely is, then you want to continuously move that stop loss up, and eventually it's going to fail. It's going to pull back, and when it does, you're going to be in the gravy. So, that's a great way to go. Okay. Pratik Patel, please advise, Jim. What would you do if you're up 25% on a stock in one day? Hold or sell? Well, here's the rule, and I just want to give it to you. You want to hold that baby. You want to hold it. Now, if you're up 20 to 25% in more than 8 weeks, then you want to sell half. But if you're up 20 to 25% in less than a day, you want to hold it. You definitely want to hold it. But you want to protect your position. And the way you do that is you move your stop loss up. You move your stop loss up to about 2.5 to 3% below where you are at now. So if it does pull back on you, you keep the money. That's very important because it's hard to get those upward momentums like that. That is if you're up that way on one stock in one day, you keep it. That's the way to do it. But set your stop loss. Set your stop loss. Absolutely, Marcin, I believe it. Hold it. Absolutely. You absolutely want to hold it because it's very rare that you're going to get a stock like that. It just happens that you were just really smart in the stock that you got into, and it moved up very nicely for you. That doesn't happen all that often. That's a rarity. I mean, of course, I'm always looking for that. I'm always looking for that. As if you look at my trade alerts and you're looking at, stuff that I'm putting out like on Tesla and Palantir and, and also in Blink. But, Doesn't happen all the time. So you want to protect those gains. And the way to do that is by pushing that stop loss up. So if you go to the bathroom or go to the other room and the thing pulls back on you, you're sold out and you make a profit. So hold that, hold it. All right, let's look at plug. Thoughts on BE and plug. Let's take a look at BE first. BE. All right. BE is Bloom Energy, and it's pulled up nicely today. Kind of a choppy chart there. Kind of a little bit choppy chart. 95 relative strength. Loving that. That's, to me, that's kind of a, really good thing. 95. It's pulled up, but it's not quite at the buy point. So what would I do with this thing? Well, you know what? I wouldn't, it depends on, are you in it or not? I don't know, but let's look at the checklist. 7 out of 9, very good. It's increasing fund ownership. So here's what I would do. If the stock moves above 23.38, then I think you got to go ahead to buy it. But right now, the buy point, it pulled above this first level buy point is at on a cup basis is 1967. So are we in the buy zone? I'm just looking to see if we are. Wow, Kazawi. It looks as if, yeah, we are in the buy zone. So what would we do on that one? I would hold. This is potentially a buy, actually, based on what I'm looking at here. This is potentially a buy. It's up $3.37, 18%. I'm surprised I hadn't had this one on my watch list, but I'm going to put it on. There is an alternate buy point though, and that's the thing you got to be concerned about at 23.38. There is an alternate buy point as well. So let's look at the industry that's in. I'm just really interested in this one. Okay, I do have some concern here. The industry rank is 150 out of 197, so it's not in the top third. I like to see the top third, sort of in the utility group, which is not a terrifically well-performing sector. It's got good on the checklist, and it does have good fund ownership. Here's the thing, that's the only red flag that I can see right now, but I would wait on this one until we saw it move. It looks as if I want to see this move above 23.38 before I'd be interested in buying it, but this is definitely a watch list stock. So thank you very much. That's interesting. I'm going to do a little bit of research on that tonight. Because I think that's a really, really good one. So let's take a look at Plug. This is PLUG. Let's see what we have there. This is Plug Power, of course. It's pulled up really nicely. Wow, everything is moving very nicely in the energy sector, electrical energy sector. $2.91. I think a lot of this is sympathy to Tesla. That's my opinion. We have a 99 relative strength. Wow, Kazawi. That's excellent. Let's look at the weekly chart to see if there's just any place we can buy this thing. 99 relative strength. Wow. 7 out of 9. That definitely meets the smell test. Okay, it's moving up in terms of fund ownership, so that looks all good. We have increasing, and we have increasing. Had good numbers for sales. That's good. We're looking at look at that. We have an Easter egg. The Easter egg means that it's moving very nicely. Lots of volume here. Wow, this one's good. This one's definitely good. I think out of the two, Plug is the one you want. They're both quite good, but I think Plug is better. Let's take a look at the industry ranking to see how that stacks up. Yeah, this is much better. 6 out of 197. So this is the clear favorite when it comes to the energy sector. So I'm going to say Plug and GM, and let's see. There we go. So I got two that probably will go on to the watch list as well. So very interesting here. Okay, so let's see. Sold Tesla at 515. I think that was probably too early. Okay, let's look at QQQJ. QQQJ. And this is the next generation. It's the QQQ Trust. And it's up 23 cents today, so not incredibly exciting. Very new issue here. Very, very new issue. It's called Next generation. This is an ETF. It's got a 53, so I'm not liking that. Let's look. Okay, it does actually have checklist of 33. Not what I'm liking to see. This is just too early. Yeah, I wouldn't. This is one I don't think you want to be in. This one, Dinesh. Thank you for this. I don't think this one is really the one. I'm sorry, I indicated Dinesh. That's not Dinesh. It's Bobby on the talk. No, I don't think you want to be in QQQJ. I think that the one that Bobby, I think the one that you want is GBTC. Let's look at how that's doing. Looking pretty good today. I did, just for full disclosure, I did buy some more of this. It's up about 87 cents or about 4%. It's at 22.11. This is an ETF that holds Bitcoin, basically 4% of the world's Bitcoin. So that's one of the one I like as well. So let's see another question. Workhorse is rallying. Do you see another buy point? Okay, yeah, Dinesh. A lot of the companies that are related to electric vehicles are moving higher on sympathy with Tesla. Basically, that's the reason for a lot of these companies moving higher. So especially Workhorse doing quite nicely today. And one thing I do like about Workhorse, I'll be honest, is that they do have production. Many of the American companies in the space don't have production. Very careful, very worried about that. This one's definitely pulled higher on the weekly chart, up $3.09 just today, or about 11, almost 12%. So that's really looking good. It's in essentially a profit-taking zone, but if it can move above, there may be another chance to buy this. Right now, it's going to be tough to buy it. It's pretty extended, but if it can move above about $30.99 or about $31, then I think you have a buy. There's increasing interest in this. I would wait on this one until we see some more price movement, because I do think it's a little bit extended and can pull back. It's got a relative strength of 99 though. That's awful good. Let's look at the checklist. 6 out of 9. That's my minimum, so that makes it. Increasing fund ownership. I'm liking that. Let's look at the industry. 16 out of 193. So this is looking very, very good, actually. Very, very good, Dinesh. You could buy it at this point, but the buy point on it really is $30.99. So that for Workhorse, the actual proper buy point, and I should say proper buy point on the consolidation base, first stage, is WKHS buy point is equal to 2290 on first stage consolidation. Oops. So let me put that out there for everyone. Here's the thing about buying extended, buying above the buy point. You can buy safely, typically within the buy point plus 5%. Above that, you're risking a little bit on your buy. You're buying it a little bit high, and it can pull back on you. So that's that's something you've got to be very, very careful about when you're picking those buy points. Okay, let's look at this one. This is interesting. Amazon. Amazon has been trending down, and I think that you're going to find that Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft aren't going to have the kind of performance that they've had during this last year, because they tend to be selling off into the end of the year. Now, let me explain why is that. Well, fund managers like to show everybody how much they have made during the year, and so what they many times will do is they'll be in the growth stocks for most of the year, and then at the end of the year, when the reports are due, they'll sell them off, and then they'll buy blue chips that have dividends and all that. So they'll do that kind of rotation. That's what I think is sort of happening with Amazon. It's not that it's a great stock. It is not that it isn't a great stock. It is a great stock. It's just kind of got a little bit ahead of itself, and I do think that it's selling off. Currently, the buy point on is 35.5225. So it's well below that. It's off today, $1. It's not a good time to buy it. So I'm gonna put that out there. But the Amazon AMZN buy point is equal to 35.52 25 on, let's see, on what? On a first stage consolidation. So I'm going to put that out there. Why is that? Why is that so important? Well, the reason, the reason that number is so important for something like Amazon is that if it's on a first stage consolidation, you want to definitely have exceeded the you definitely have wanted to exceed the buy point. Currently, we are below the buy point. We are currently below the buy point right now on that. So it's not necessarily the best time to be in to be buying buying Amazon, at least not in the short term, because it does look like it is trending down. Thought about QDEL. I bought 300 shares, and what did I do? Well, the question is, where did you buy it? Obviously, that's the key. Thank you, Stuman. QDEL is the symbol for QDEL Company, and it develops rapid diagnostic tests for infectious diseases. Here's one thing I think you need to take a look at: Zero Hedge. There was an article in Zero Hedge basically about it was somebody from Pfizer that basically said that, the COVID thing, and I know this sounds strange, may actually be over. So take a look at Zero Hedge to see about what's happening with this. I do think that, we may be, there may be more. We may be seeing, we may be seeing an end to that. So I don't think that right now. I think there's a little bit of a risk in buying a company like this, because this is a story stock, and story stock can be devastating when they go the wrong way. The trend on this is downwards. Okay, it's a classic example of buy in rumor, sell in news. I do think you need to check out that Zero Hedge article about COVID, because even though the government is telling us that the cases are exploding and we can't do anything, apparently that has not been the case, and this is what an executive at Pfizer is saying. So be very, very careful if you buy this one. I think I think it's probably necessary. It's probably a good time to be selling this, and the reason I think it is because it's fallen below that 200-day moving average. So if I were you on this one, again, I'm not in it. I would be seller. I'd be a seller of this right now, because I do think there is a risk of it going lower, and that is never give up. Try not to give up all the good profit that you've made. It's just try not to. Corsair Gaming, boy, this is a really good one. Christian, thanks again for Corsair. This has been a tremendous one. This is actually on my last list too. It's just there's so many good things that are breaking out right now that I don't have time to go over all of them. But Corsair Gaming is definitely one of the best ones. Let's see if I can pull this up. I have to remember exactly what the symbol is. CORSAIR Gaming symbol. And what I'm doing here is I'm just looking up the symbol to see what that is. CRSR is the symbol, so I know now what that is. CRSR. And yeah, Corsair Gaming, boy, look at that. It's up $4.99 today, and it's not that expensive a stock. So wow, that is just looking really good. 99 relative strength. Wow, it's up 12% just today. Well, today's just been incredible in terms of a lot of stuff popping right today. Let's look at the checklist. 7 out of 9. That's definitely good. That's definitely good. Let's look at let's look at the earnings. They're definitely going up. Sales are definitely going up. And in this business, in the gaming business, sales equal profits, as we all know. So that's really good. Let's look at the ownership. We have 50. Wow, this thing debuted with 50 owners in funds. I have to say, this is just on fire. Unfortunately, I can't see it necessarily a really good place to buy this. It's not that I don't want to buy it. I do want to buy this, but these are hard to buy when they move up like this. I just see a lot of money moving into this right now. You probably could buy this on the 21 day, but that's at 31. It's at 45.32. So I think you're going to have to wait for a pullback on this one. But this is definitely good. CRSR. Okay, I'm going to probably put that on the watch list and do some analysis on this, and maybe put that out there on the on the on the watch list, and maybe even do a do some stuff for the action trade alert on that, because that is that's really interesting to me. By the way, if you're viewing me on YouTube, and of course I'm simulcasting this on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, and Facebook. If you could like me on, if you could like me, that would be really great. Like it on YouTube. That really helps me out. So if you're over there on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button, and that would be great. It really helps me out on the on the stuff. And of course, you get to see whenever I put out something new trade alert, that kind of thing. So kind of fun there. All right, so getting back to the questions, let's see if I can give you something good. Okay, any thoughts on Palantir and XP? Okay, the Bible. Well, I think Palantir is XPV. I think you want to go with Neo on that. My opinion. Buy point for sale. And what do you think of Plug? I really like Plug, by the way. I really like Plug. Now let's look at sale. I haven't gone through sale yet on the chart there, but let's look at it. SAIL is the symbol for SailPoint Tech Holdings. Here's a little issue on sale that I want to put up there. Let's look at the weekly chart first. Whenever looking for trend, we start with that weekly chart. So we definitely have a nice uptrend. We definitely have a nice uptrend on this, so that's good. So it meets the first criteria. We definitely have an uptrend. It seems like we're hugging that 40-day that 40-day exponential. Now let's see. Let's kind of do the smell test on it to see kind of what we've got there. Well, we have 8 out of 9 buying criteria, so that's excellent. Let's look at the ownership. The fund ownership is going up. It's 398. It's come up there. Let's look at the sales. They're moving up. Not quite as good this last quarter as the quarter before, but we definitely have increasing sales. So that is very strong as well. It also became earnings positive just on this last quarter, and that's very important. We actually have real earnings on this, which is nice. Not a whole lot. The cash flow is 38 cents per share, but we have cash flow. 62% of fund, 62% of the ownership of this stock is in funds. So that's looking very, very good. Can we find a place to buy this thing possibly? Well, let's go back to the daily chart to see kind of what we're looking at here. Well, there is no real buy point. The last buy point was way back here in January of this last year on a flat base at 25.48. So we're now at 42.58. So we really don't have a buy point. The only place that you can buy this that I can see right now is at about 42.61, and that is at the 42. That is at the 40-day that's at the 40-day line. That's the little red line here on this chart. Now, if this thing reverses, you could definitely buy this, and this might not be a bad buy. The one thing I do want to caution you, though, is in the short term we have a downward trend, and I don't like to buy in downward trends ever. So I want to wait until we have an upward trend. So I think it would be prudent to wait until sale is moved above 49.82. Because at 49.82, it will then have shown a reversal in trend. Right now, short term, we have a downward trend, but on the long-term trend, it is upward. So the question is, where do you buy this? Well, I would not buy it until we had continued a new higher high, and that would be at 49.84. So I appreciate that. That question is very, very good. All right, so let's see. VTRS. Let's look at VTRS real quick. VTRS is the symbol, and that is Virtus. Develops genetic and brand drugs for the treatment of central nervous system and cardiovascular issues. Okay, here's the thing. Let's take a look at the weekly chart to see if we have what we have. Now, I would not buy this right out of hand, and the reason is very simple. We have a downward trend on this on the stock. So because we have a downward trend, that is something that we want to be very careful about. We want to be very, very careful about a downward trend, even though we did have some nice buying. Here's the thing. We have pulled above the 200-day moving average. Never, never, never buy a stock if it falls below the 200-day moving average. It has pulled above it, so that's good, but I'm not convinced we've seen enough trend there. The relative strength is only 35. My minimum is 80. So we're just not there. Okay, let's look at the checklist. The smell test on this one is not good. 4 out of 9. Hate to say it, but this does not meet the criteria. Let's look at the fund ownership. We have increasing fund ownership. This is a good thing. So that is good. Let's look at the industry. It's 185 out of 197. This just isn't good enough. This is not a buy. I don't even think this is a watch list. Thank you, Benjamin. I appreciate it. But I don't believe that this one is a buy. I just don't think so. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, thank you very, very much. I so appreciate it. I'm going to be trying to put in the next month or so, I'm going to be trying to put together a little course for Udemy, which will kind of show you what I'm doing, because some of the lingo that I have is just, if you're not used to it, it's kind of confusing. And what do you do? Basically, what I'm is a CAN-SLIM investor. And what that is this system was invented about 30 years ago by William O'Neill, and he's one of the truly greatest momentum traders ever to live. He's still alive, actually. He's originally from Dallas, but he started Investor Business Daily. So just wanted to point you over to that. If you are interested in learning more about what I'm talking about with CAN-SLIM trading, buy points and all this kind of stuff, just jump on over to Dallas Trading Floor website, www.dallastradingfloor, and take a look at at some of the books that you could buy. How to Make Money in Stocks: A Winning System, Good Times or Bad by William O'Neill. That's the orange cover here. That can be bought, and it's definitely worth your read. It's not a very expensive book. If you read this, I guarantee you'll be better right away than 50% of all the traders out there, and maybe 75%. Then if you get this book, How to Make Money in Stocks, Getting Started by Matthew Galgani, kind of like the Cliff Notes for that book. This one too. I mean, literally within a few months of practice, you can be a very, very, very good trader, and especially, of course, if you watch the show. I'm plugged for my show. You can get into the right stocks, and you can really turn this into something profit stream for you. So just highly recommend that. Well, I didn't get to everybody's questions, and I apologize. Sometimes it's, there's so much going on. There's just not enough time. There's not enough time. But I will be back tomorrow, and we probably will get a little bit of a pullback, just to be. Just to be honest, we're probably going to get a little bit of a pullback on the market tomorrow. So be careful. Set those stop losses up. I hope everyone out there stays safe, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And just stay safe, and happy trading. See you tomorrow at 2:30.